Hi guys. So the ball is now officially rolling for my hysterectomy, for me getting surgery, for me having the procedure, for me recovering, all of this stuff. So on Tuesday, I woke up in agonizing pain. And Tracy very, very gently reminded me as I was like, oh God, I'm gonna die. She reminded me that I needed to call the doctor. So I did, and I actually was able to get an appointment in that day. I didn't even tell them like how bad of agony I was in or anything. They just had several openings on the day that I happened to be calling for an appointment. So it was just very bizarre. But so I ended up going for that, and she had said that she had thought that it was probably going to be like the beginning of March, beginning of March. That's now. The beginning of April or the end of March that we would be getting it in, because it would probably be a couple weeks before I could get back in there for the ultrasound and the pre-op appointment. Turns out that's tomorrow. That's when that was their first available appointment. And I was like, sure. So it's going to be a very big juggling act. I'm guessing that since that appointment is done so much quicker, and it seems like this ball is rolling down a very steep hill, and it's just gaining momentum and going very quickly to get everything removed, which is kind of exciting, knowing that like this is going to be the last cycle of torture for me, potentially. Like, I'm pretty jazzed about that, honestly. But so I'm a little bit nervous because of how time frames are going to add up and work out for the farm and for the homestead and stuff. I use the terms interchangeably because like we are technically a farm because we do sell products, but we're also a homestead because it's us first. And I don't like the term farmstead. Like that just, it doesn't flow. I mean, that technically is what we probably, I don't like labels. It just, most people in where I live at, they don't know what a homestead is. They know what a farm is. So if I say we're a small farm, then they're like, gotcha, understand. And then if you also say hobby farm, they think I'm just playing around, that I have like pretend farm animals, but it's like, these are actual livestock. Like we milk the goats, we eat the rabbits, we eat the ducks, we hatch, we're doing the damn thing. Like we do it. But so, yeah, it's a little bit disjointed there. But anyways, sorry, a little bit scrambled today. It's been a really dreary day, so my whole flow is really off today. I don't like filming inside because I get distracted. Earlier I tried to film and the cat put her tail in my mouth, and that was not good at all. But so anyways, that procedure, I'm not stressed out about the actual procedure. I'm concerned about how the timing of everything is going to lock into place, because we're rapidly approaching the time that we would be starting the garden, getting things tilled, getting the soil worked and everything. Like obviously the soil still needs to dry up. It's very wet outside. The stream is beautifully overflowing. It's just gorgeous. I was out there earlier, but then it started raining, so I couldn't stay. But anyways, like there's so many moving parts at this time of year for anyone that grows their own food that it's kind of sketchy for me to be like, okay, yep, I'm going to end up having a significant weight restriction going on. I'm going to be, essentially in significant pain for a little while. I'm going to have this happening, and I'm going to have this restriction. It's kind of like, it's like I'm tying one hand behind my back going into a very busy season of life. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking. But there's also pressure to get it done faster. So that way, for one, I'm not in agony all the time. But for two, we have goats that are getting ready to kid like any day now. Today is actually their due date. I've been checking them every couple hours just to see if everything's okay. I get really nervous about that. But so let me regain my thoughts here. I remember with having the goats, with doing dairy goats and things of that nature, they will have a lot of milk for, the kids usually start weaning them or selling them at like 8 to 12 weeks old. So I can basically kids share. I can have the kids milking their mama, getting all of the milk while I'm recovering. So that way, when it's time for me to be back in full swing, back in full action and all of that stuff, they'll be done drinking all of the milk. So that way I can start milking myself. It's just not milking myself. That'd be weird. Have a brand new farm product there. But so, then I can basically take over. I can have them on autopilot. The goats will just keep doing the goat thing, raising the babies and just doing their thing while I'm working on healing myself. We ended up getting a really kick-ass deal on some ducklings the other day. And so it kind of puts in another level of complexity of, while I'm recovering, I'm going to also be raising these ducklings so that way we can get them butchered. So it's one of those things of, all right, in like 8 to 10 weeks, they're going to be ready to go. it's a 6-week recovery process. So if it takes 4 weeks from now till I have the surgery and then 6 weeks on there, that's 10 weeks. So then as soon as I'm done recovering, it'll be butcher day, which, kind of need to wait till close to that time because, you want them to be full size, but also they're kind of heavy. I know that 20 pounds is the weight restriction that I'm going to have to work with, but there's times that the ducks actually get to being like 13, 14 pounds. We have rabbits that we're breeding right now. Their babies get pretty heavy. They are heavy, different things of that nature. And, a lot can go wrong when you're farming, when you're feeding yourself, when you're doing all these things, especially starting out and establishing a new homestead on different land that's been neglected for several years. So you can't just ask somebody like, hey, how wet does this get over here? You got to just keep checking and stuff. And that's kind of the period that I'm at right now, is I just keep checking everything out and observing and watching and trying to... So jumbled today. Trying to basically let the land speak to me and stuff, of just observing and watching it all to try to figure out where the best place to put stuff is, because it's getting very rapidly turning into crunch mode of where do we put the manure? Where do we start the garden at? Where do we potentially till, or do I cover it so that way I can kill off the grass now? It's just, there's so many decisions that have to be made now that adding this level of complexity into it, it's been tough, to be quite honest. It's just, I'm nervous. This is a big change for me. This is a big procedure. My body does not handle pain medicine very well. We'll just leave it at that. I get very, very sick with any sort of pain medicine, besides like ibuprofen. So yeah, I've had some people tell me that it's a huge deal. Other people tell me, like my former neighbor, if you're watching this, hi Cheryl, still my all-time favorite neighbor, but she actually had repainted her entire house right afterwards and had done a whole bunch of stuff and has, told me like, girlfriend, you're going to be fine. Like, don't worry about it. I've had other people tell me that it's going to take 6 months to be okay. So I asked the doctor about it, and she's super cool. She basically said that we'll put it in more friendly words. Since I'm not a big baby, since I know how to deal with pain, that my hardest part is going to be remembering to rein my energy in, to rein myself back in, to not overdo it, to allow my body time to heal, which that's the same exact thing that my pelvic floor therapist had told me, that was her anticipation. That'd be the hardest part for me of this, is to abide by the restrictions, abide by the weight restrictions and stuff, because I'm always just one of those people that just go and does all the things, and I don't like to ask for help. I don't like to wait for help. It's just not my style. I'd rather just, I don't know. There's a long tangent I could go on that, but I'm going to end this here so that way I don't, because today has been a day where I've just been super rambly, super all over the place, scattered, of lots to say, lots and lots to say, I suppose. So I'll leave it at that. So thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.